let's give our instant reaction to the Brock Purdy news. It's a repair. It's not a full reconstruction. He's supposed to be back in 6 months. Crystal, why don't you lead us off? What do you think?
I was very excited to find out that it was just a repair and that it was successful. So that gives me a lot of optimism that he is going to be ready to roll on time for the 2023 season.
Steph.
Yeah, I mean, this was the best case scenario for the 49ers, right? So, and the best case scenario doesn't always happen when it comes to injuries in the 49ers. So, I think I think we're all very accepting of this news. But now there are some questions still, right? Like, what happens? Will he be fully cleared by week 1? And by fully cleared by week 1, does that mean that he's going to be ready to make a start in week 1? That's a question, because him being fully clear doesn't necessarily mean that he'll be necessarily ready. They might want to ramp him up as far as like practices go and things like that. I think personally that who they bring in as a veteran quarterback or whatever quarterback they bring in will tell us a lot about what they feel and what they think about when Brock Purdy is going to be ready to start.
That's the tell. Like John Lynch rubbing his earlobe or scratching his hair. I feel that because, I mean, we got good news today, right? But we don't really know. I mean, there'll be more information. If they go out and sign Baker Mayfield, it'd be like, well, why? Why'd you do that? If they sign Andy Dalton, be like, okay, so you're or Nick Mullins. Miriah, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is the best possible outcome we could have hoped for, right? Best possible outcome for the team's perspective, for Brock's, perspective. They said he could start probably throwing in 3 months, but like Steph said, and also you don't know what's going to happen between then and now. Like, does he heal correctly? Is there going to be, like, we still don't know what's going to happen. So, like, we just have to keep our fingers crossed, hope everything, goes well. But yeah, a lot's, we'll see who they sign. I always thought that's going to be very telling what kind of quarterback they bring in. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a hurry up and wait game at this point, right? But I mean, I think it's still Trey Lance's team at this point, because it's going to be his off season. Still Brock can't play, so he's not going to be there with the team during training camp. He's not nothing. So I think it's still Trey Lance's team at this point.
I feel you. When this news came out, did someone want to say something?
I was just going to say, I think it's Trey Lance's team, but it almost feels like because it has to be. Just the feeling that I get from the team and everything that's been said about Brock Purdy, despite him being clearly unavailable and hurt for several months, it almost feels like there's this full court press to make sure that people don't forget that Brock Purdy is still our guy.
Yes.
And so it almost feels like, yeah, Trey Lance is our guy, but just because he needs to be, kind of thing.
Right.
But I hope that he gets I hope that he gets that opportunity to, at least show what he has. And I just want him to get a fair shot at the very least. So to all this talk about Brock Purdy kind of feels like he's not going to get that fair shot, but I really hope he comes out strong and proves them wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you went to Trey. We're going to talk about Trey next. I want to stick with Brock for a second. You said this might not be fair to Trey. To me, the way I look at this is this might not be fair to Brock. Like, it's good news today, and I think I was a little negative in my initial reaction that I put up an hour ago, but I'm a little worried for Brock here because I feel like he's getting rushed back. Now, I know this is an independent doctor and all that, but it just feels like the Niners are like, he's going to be back. He's going to be fine. He doesn't need an offseason. He's going to be the same guy. And the expectation is that he's going to be there week 1. They're going to score 35 points like they did down the stretch, and everything's going to be like it was. And if it's not, it's going to be his fault. And it's going to – remember Jimmy Garoppolo had that 5-game stretch in 2017 when he was great and the offense was great and he got paid. And then in 2018, he came back and it wasn't the same. And it was just like, what's the problem? Like, a lot of times the Niners offense isn't clicking early in the season. And now you got Brock Purdy with no offseason coming off a major surgery, may not have quite the same arm. And it's like, hey, man, let's go score 30 a game. Like, if you don't, people are going to be looking around like, what's this guy's problem? Is he not what we thought he was? I think the Niners are putting him in a tough situation. It's tough. I feel for him.
Well, I mean, he's going to be able to start throwing after 3 months, right? So I feel like that ramp up time should help at least not just him, but the team know, okay, he looks like he's ready. They should have a good idea before week 1 whether or not he looks to be the same guy or not. And hopefully, obviously they have a backup plan. I mean, Trey Lance is still going to be around, and whatever quarterback they bring in. So and that's what I'm saying, like, Trey Lance could make that decision, difficult for them, and they could say, you know what, let's actually, let Brock heal a little bit longer and make sure that he is really 100%. So it's up to Lance, I think, to make that decision a little bit difficult and give Brock that extra time, I think.
Yeah. Nick Donald says, how do we know this brace is going to hold up multiple NFL seasons, getting hit and falling on it? Purdy is not a baseball player. Baseball players don't get hit. Nick, we don't.
Yeah.
We're in uncharted territory here. The only other person in NFL history, I believe, that got this surgery is Nick Mullins, who is a backup. So we're going to find out, I guess. Ryan Hensley, 4 fire emojis, not 3. $10. Amen. Love you, Ryan. Thank you. Corey Soto says it may be Purdy's team now, but the NFL is fickle. It could become Trey's team real fast. Not saying it will happen, but that's just the way it goes. That's kind of what I was alluding to. You rush this guy back, and he's not quite ready, and the team loses a few games, and people are already thinking like, well, what about Trey? Hey, where's Trey? Where's Trey? That's what I'm sort of alluding to here. If Brock starts week 1, man, he might not be ready. Also, the offense usually isn't ready until the bye week, if we're being honest. I mean, they even talk about it. They're like, we kind of feel it out and establish our identity and then go on a run. Okay, well, Brock, you're going to be in that feeling out, establishing time. You didn't feel that last. That was Brock and Jimmy and Trey had to go through that last year, not Brock. So that'll be interesting too.
No, I was going to say that because Kyle always says every year that he wants to start out the gate. He wants to start fast. And for some reason, we start out slow and
very slow, especially on offense.
Yeah.
Always. And we also know that this fan base will turn on you like a dime. So it doesn't matter who it is. And that, so that definitely is true.
Yeah, Crystal. I mean, the fan base loved Jimmy, right? He was Jimmy Savior, Jimmy Jesus, Jimmy GQ. And now they can't wait to see him go. Exactly. Goodbye. Right? That went pretty quick.
Now he's Jimmy goodbye.
Now he's Jimmy goodbye. All right.
He's pack his bags and everything.